Hi, my name is Chris Sullivan. I'm a master's student at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, studying fish ecology. So much of my life involves swimming, surfing, scuba diving, and really just swimming as exercise. If I didn't know how to swim, maybe I wouldn't know what I was missing out on, but I think it's affected my life immensely. Swimming is what brought me to the ocean, and that's how I became a marine biologist.
My name is Brian Zaglinski. I'm a graduate student at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Early on, I knew I wanted to do marine science. Probably when I was in second grade, I got my first aquarium and just loved it. And so my passion for being in the water and in the ocean led me to being on the swim team and playing water polo in high school, and then got scuba certified, I think my freshman year of college. Started diving. For the past 10 years, I've been working for the National Marine Fisheries Service in Hawaii as a scientific diver and research biologist. And a big part of my job is spending time in the water, doing surveys, counting fish, taking pictures of coral, deploying oceanographic instruments. We're going to these remote locations that are 5 days away from anywhere, so you have to work sometimes in challenging conditions. And you have to rely on your team to get you out of situations. Swimming is a big part of that, and so being a strong swimmer has allowed me to be a successful marine biologist.
There was actually one occurrence when I was out on an expedition out in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of weather going on. It was real choppy, raining, windy, a lot of currents, and we were diving in a volcanic location, and there was a lot of kind of sediment going into the water, and we couldn't see, and we didn't notice that we were in a really strong current. So when we came up eventually to the surface, we were really far away from the boat. Because it was so choppy and raining, the boat driver couldn't even see us. And I thoroughly believe if I wasn't a strong swimmer that we would have maybe wrapped around that island and never been seen again. But I was able to keep myself and my dive buddy kind of just in a set position so that the boat driver could eventually see us. I think the swimming possibly saved my life.
I think some of my earliest memories of swimming occurred from swim lessons, actually, and I remember being pretty scared of going away from the wall and going across the pool where I couldn't touch the bottom. And I remember that was a pretty big challenge for me, and it took me all summer to build up the skills to swim across the pool, across the deep end, and then also jump off the high dive. I think just having the encouragement of the swim instructor, getting the self-confidence and being comfortable in the water, I was able to do that.
The biggest thing for me when I was younger and learning was the idea that you can't really see underwater unless, of course, you have goggles or a mask. And I just remember that kind of being the big issue, is knowing that as soon as I was under the water, I couldn't see. It was mainly just in my head getting over that, knowing, well, maybe you don't really need to see underwater necessarily. With swimming, I feel like you got to keep doing it, and it's the experience of it, and eventually you're going to get more comfortable. The most important thing when learning to swim is to be comfortable in the water. Staying calm and being comfortable allows your mind to take on challenges in the water. This also keeps your heart rate down, which allows your body to work more efficiently. The best way to get comfortable is to spend as much time in the water as possible. Start in the shallow end of the pool where you can stand. Grab the wall of the pool and slowly dunk your face into the water. Try to avoid using your hands to plug your nose. You won't be able to do this when you're actually swimming, so it's best you get comfortable now. Just before dunking below the surface, close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you submerge, slowly blow bubbles out of your nose and mouth. Blowing bubbles keeps water out and teaches you to stay calm. Continue to blow bubbles until you come back above the surface. Do this several times. Continue this for a few minutes until you are comfortable with your face underwater. When comfortable, you can stay holding the wall or step away and stand in the shallow end. This time, slowly bend your knees and lower your entire head under the surface of the water. Again, take a deep breath and close your eyes. Then, slowly blow bubbles out of your nose and mouth. Try to submerge your head completely underwater, then stand straight up. Repeat this several times until you are comfortable. If you want to take the next step, try opening your eyes briefly once your head is submerged. You'll be able to faintly see what's around you. Practice these motions until you're comfortable being underwater. Once you are comfortable being underwater, the next step in learning how to swim is being comfortable floating.
When you get into the pool, your body displaces a volume of water, which is basically the hole in the water that your body fits into. As long as the water your body displaces weighs more than you do, you float. As you float, your weight presses down in the water presses back, pushing you up. The buoyancy of the water reduces your body weight by about 90%. You weigh less than the water you're in because your lungs are full of air, like a balloon, and like a balloon, the air in your lungs lifts you to the surface naturally. Stay relaxed and calm to prevent your muscles from tensing up. Tense muscles often keep your body a bit lower in the water. Since many people breathe more shallowly and rapidly when they're tense, they tend to sink. Hence, less air in the lungs are for floating. To practice floating, again, start in the shallow end. Face and grab the wall with both hands and put your feet to the bottom. Slowly lower and tilt your head backwards until it's resting on the surface of the water. As you do this, lean backwards, allowing your chest to raise up. Continue to breathe calmly. Remember, the more calm you are, the more air you will be able to keep in your lungs to help keep you afloat. As your chest rises, let go of the wall with your arms and keep them outstretched or to the sides of your body. As you're leaning on your back, let your legs raise off the bottom until you're completely laying on your back. Continue breathing calmly. If you feel your head start sinking, simply stand up. Try this several times until you're able to float freely and calmly for about a few minutes.
My name is SO1 Remy, and I'm a United States Navy SEAL based on the West Coast SEAL Team. Okay. I chose this path in my life, the U.S. Navy SEAL teams, because they're the best of the best. Great group of guys. They operate at a high tempo, very successful at what they do, very disciplined, and I wanted to be a part of that. There were 3 challenges that I faced before becoming a United States Navy SEAL, and the first challenge I would say was access to a swimming pool. Growing up in the Bronx, there's not too many swimming pools, and there's definitely not a lot of swimming instructors. When I finally joined the Navy, I was stationed at Naval Hospital Camp Pendleton. The pool was about 3 to 4 miles away from my barracks. Therefore, I had to run 3 to 4 miles to the pool in order to swim and then run back home. So for me, access was one of the biggest challenges. The second challenge that I faced was actually learning how to swim. When I got to the pool, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. And not only did I know it, but the lifeguards knew it as well. And so I would get into this pool and I would try and get down to the other end, and it just wasn't working. But I continued to go over and over again, and gradually I got better as time went on. But one day I decided to humble myself, and I asked one of the lifeguards, I said, hey, obviously I don't know what I'm doing. Is there any way you can help me out? Of course, he couldn't leave his post, but from his post, he gave me instructions. He told me how to move my hands, he told me how to move my legs, and as time went on, I became a better swimmer. But I still wasn't as proficient as I needed to be in order to get into SEAL training. The third challenge that I faced was swimming with gear. So after I finally got through Hell Week, the instructors, they saw how diligent I was, they saw that I really wanted to be there, so they decided to roll me back 2 classes and put me in a swim program. In that swim program, they taught me how to swim with gear, they taught me how to swim long distances, and they gave me the skills that I needed to succeed in BUD/S and to become a U.S. Navy SEAL. My first experience swimming was actually a dramatic experience. My mom brought my brother and I up to Cape Cod, Massachusetts just for a little getaway. So it was a hot day, so my mom decided to take me and my brother down to the swimming pool. We started out in the shallow end, and somehow my brother made his way to the deep end. He didn't know how to swim in the deep end, so he began to drown. My mom was frantic, but she couldn't swim. She was screaming for help, and finally someone came along, and he jumped in the pool and saved my brother's life. So my first experience with swimming and being in the water was watching my brother almost die. That kind of challenged me. It didn't scare me, but it was an impetus for me to learn how to swim one day. And it was a drive so that I wouldn't be a victim. And if I was in a situation where I saw somebody getting ready to drown or die, I could jump in and save them. Swimming has given me the opportunity to be comfortable in any and every environment, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's around me. Swimming has allowed me to do amazing things and protect the freedoms of this country and save those who needed to be saved. Swimming has changed my life. Swimming is a combination of balancing the movement of your body and your breathing pattern. When you're comfortable floating, then you're ready to move on to propelling your body through the water. First, you need to learn several techniques for kicking through the water. In the shallow end, face and grab the wall with your hands. While holding on, outstretch your arms and your legs until your body is oriented parallel to the surface of the water. Start kicking your legs in an altering, fluttering pattern. Do this for a minute or until you feel comfortable. This is the flutter kick, which can be used anytime you are swimming on your stomach. Next, we'll learn how to breaststroke kick. Again, face and grab the wall with your hands. While holding on, outstretch your arms and legs until your body is oriented parallel to the surface of the water. Kick your legs in opposite directions in a frog-like pattern and bring them back together at the same location. This is the breaststroke kick. This can be used when you are swimming, breaststroking, or just trying to tread water. Next, we'll learn how to scissor kick. Again, face and grab the wall with your hands. While holding on, outstretch your arms and legs until your body is oriented parallel to the surface of the water. Kick your legs in opposite directions in a scissor kick-like pattern and bring them back together at the same location. This is the scissor kick. This can be used when you are trying to tread water.
I'm Ashley Marino and I'm a San Diego lifeguard.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Some of my first experiences in the water were at the community pool where we lived. And I remember my uncle taking me and putting me on his back and kind of just tossing me in the water. I don't remember being nervous at all about swimming in the pool, but I remember being really nervous about waves. And the more people I talk to, the more I learned that that's really common when you're younger, is to be afraid of the waves. So what I did first was my mom took me to a spot that didn't have any waves and got me really comfortable in the water, looking at all the living creatures and critters there, and then she kind of eased me into the waves. Throughout my career as a lifeguard for the city, I've probably made almost 200 rescues, I would say. It sounds pretty crazy, but some of them haven't been as dramatic as others. Some of them have been in knee-deep water for me, but maybe in neck-deep water for the person that I was rescuing, little children. A rescue that I remember was on Thanksgiving Day, and a soccer team was visiting San Diego for a tournament. We got a really big swell that day, and we had about 15-foot waves here at the beach, which is pretty incredible. We usually only get 1 to 2 swells like that per year. A few girls were in their shorts and their t-shirts, and they were hanging out in about ankle-deep water, and a set of waves came and knocked the girls off their feet. And before they knew it, they were in over their head, being pulled out through the rip current. They couldn't swim very well, and luckily another lifeguard and I happened to be right at that spot in the lifeguard truck. We swam out to her. It took us a long time to get out to her though, because the waves were consistently pounding us down. We pulled her up. She was exhausted. It took both of us to pull her in with a lot of strength and not giving up. You know, at one point we actually all got pushed underwater by a few waves, but I know just to relax, and the other guard knew just to relax underwater when it feels like you're in a washing machine. We came up, we took a breath, and then we brought her into the beach. She was okay. She went home safe that day. Even though I'm a lifeguard at the beach and I've been swimming in the ocean and in the pool all my life, I have a very high degree of respect for the ocean. I know that Mother Nature is unpredictable and is very strong and powerful. So I know my limits as a strong swimmer and a lifeguard, and as should you know your limits. Especially, don't go swim in the ocean when there's not a parent watching you, or at night, or especially when a lifeguard tower is not open, because you never really know the exact conditions unless you sit and watch that water every day like a lifeguard does. So remember, always swim in front of a lifeguard, always have your parent there when you swim, and never swim at night. As a lifeguard, we're not encouraging you not to go in the water and go on the beach and swim. We're doing the opposite. We encourage you to go swim at the beach. We just want to emphasize that we'd like you to know your limits. Contact the lifeguard at the beach that you're going to ask what the conditions are for the day. Don't let anyone pressure you into going out when you don't feel comfortable. And above all, don't swim under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Now that you're comfortable floating and moving in the water, let's try to put it all together. To freestyle stroke, push off the wall with both your arms outstretched forward and your legs as straight as possible. This is called a streamline. When you feel your body losing momentum, start to flutter with your legs. Turn your body over to take a stroke and breathe in. Alternate your arms and breathe every other stroke. Try to kick your feet continuously. Also, try to slowly breathe out bubbles from your nose and mouth. This is the freestyle stroke. Breaststroke. Kick off the wall in a streamlined position again. When you lose momentum, this time pull both of your arms out and push down. Pull your head up and take a breath. Tuck your arms into your torso. At the same time, bring your legs in and then kick them together like in a frog motion. Repeat these steps for the breaststroke. Backstroke. Kick off the wall on your back in a streamlined position. Continuously kick your feet in a flutter kick pattern. On your back, alternate bringing your arms straight over your body and behind your head. Push them underwater and up past your hips in a circular motion. While alternating arms continuously, breathe keeping your head back facing up.
That's all.
That was it.
Okay.